morning. It is Tuesday morning, July 18th. It's around 10:30 in the morning. This is normally my run around crazy appointment shopping day, but I had to jump through hoops because I had a doctor's appointment and they called and canceled on me anyway. So now my day is crazy, but it's okay because I have a lot of harvesting to do. As you can see behind me, there is an unscheduled storm popping up because the humidity is so oppressive out here. I am going to be a stink mess by the time I get to the doctor's office, and I'm probably going to have tomato tar hands, but it's okay because I wanted to come out and show you real quick. We have an absolutely beautiful tomato harvest about to happen here, so I wanted to talk to you about a couple things that are happening with tomato plants in case this is your first time growing them, so you know what to look out for, and I want to show you exactly what it is that I'm harvesting today. My friend Donna gave me this beautiful longer burger basket, which I will cherish and handle very, very gingerly, but it's perfect to harvest my big heirloom tomatoes because it has a beautiful plastic insert. So I have to be very careful with this beautiful basket as I harvest my cherished tomatoes. But if you look here, I have another Black Beauty tomato that I'll be pulling off in addition to my Perfect Thornburns Terracotta. There's actually several, and you can see they're starting to split, so I'm going to want to get these guys before it rains. Also, we have more Dr. Witchy's Yellow that are starting to turn. Now, I thought I saw a mortgage lifter, but probably not on this side. Oh, I cannot wait to harvest this beautiful fluted tomato. Look at these beautiful zinnias. It's so hard to not just come out here and be out here every single day. Now, I want to show you real quick. These are the tomatoes from Baker Creek. This is the Martino Roma. And these were the tomatoes that were completely infested with aphids. And you can see they are starting to ripen now. The fruit is in perfect condition. The plants suffered a little bit, but I didn't spray them. I didn't do anything. We just left them alone. And while the plant suffers, the fruit didn't, and you can see that there's new flowers starting on the top, and the plant is so heavy, I'm going to have to harvest these guys early because I cannot keep this one up. These are those crazy Sweet 100 tomatoes that we just let ramble, so I'm going to have to get those before it rains as well. Now, this is a common problem here with Amish paste. Look at all of this beautiful fruit. This kind of acts the same way as a Roma tomato, where once everything is starting to produce heavy and it's starting to ripen, it comes down with blight. This is very common. All of my Roma tomatoes do the same thing. They're once, as it's growing, you can't see the fruit at all. And then all of a sudden, once there's one red Roma tomato, it's very common that you see crazy blight and dieback, and then all of a sudden, your tomatoes are exposed. So I really expected to see that today. But gosh, look at the garden. Oh my goodness. I am going to be so late, you guys. Oh, look at the sky. Yeah, this is an appointment that I really can't miss. It's for my thyroid. Back in 2007, it was discovered that I had a tumor in my thyroid, and they took the whole entire thing out. So now I rely on thyroid medication for the rest of my life. So unfortunately, it's an appointment that I can't miss, but I would totally rather be out here in the garden. Look at how everything is growing. Oh my goodness. This crazy corn. So here's another Dr. Witchy's in the back. These were the two extra tomato plants that I had. And look, it's my first mortgage lifter. Oh my goodness, this is a perfect and pristine tomato. I cannot wait to pull it. This area here, oh, finally all of my peppers are starting to show up. I have cantaloupe and watermelon, my green beans, all of the corn. The zucchini is definitely benefiting from daily bug picking, and it's really happy this year. But anyway, I digress. So again, this is common. Look at all of these tomatoes on this set. This is the Grappoli di Inverno. I'm telling you, I have thousands of tomatoes. Once they start to show a ripe tomato, you get the crazy blight. So I'll have to give it a big pruning. My Chadwick cherry went down in the last storm, so I had to somewhat get that hoisted up, but that is starting to bloom back there as well. But look at this bouquet. Okay, you guys, oh my gosh. Look at this bouquet. Oh my goodness, the color of this flower. I wish that you could see it in person. It is so beautifully saturated with color. And this guy here has been hanging on for like a week. absolutely incredible. And the green zinnias are holding up for such a long time. Oh, something else that opened today. I actually am dressed properly today and I am clean. This is the pink picote, or picotee cosmos, finally starting to open. My goodness. There's one more tomato that I want to show you back here. Well, actually, look at all of these Roma tomatoes. I'm going to be making tomato gravy or tomato sauce. Which one do you say, you guys? Tell me if you say tomato gravy or sauce. Look, there's my first brandy wine, and it is truly pink. I don't know if you can tell, but I'll be harvesting that one today before the rain comes. Here's the thing that I'm mainly out here coming after. All of these Parks Whoppers. Now that one looks like it's split, so I have to get in there and make sure I get that one. But there's a ton of tomatoes out here that I'll have to pull, so I'll have a nice big basket. You see my little cardinal friend over there. We have so many birds, it's absolutely crazy. I am all sweaty. I feel like I just came out of a sauna, all while I have to go get an exam. It is so humid, but it is so absolutely beautiful out there. I was able to quickly grab the biggest, most ripe tomatoes, but there's so many out there, it's time for me to start processing tomatoes. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you very quickly what I put in my basket, just for now. But if it dries up a little bit, I'll probably go out and harvest some more because the Roma tomatoes are starting to become a lot. So let's check it out. I really wanted to show you this beautiful basket while I was still out in the sunshine. But I grabbed another Dr. Witchy's. These are a combination of the Grappolini Inverno, which is very much like the Borghese. But believe it or not, this is a cherry tomato. This is a Chadwick cherry. They're absolutely gigantic this year. I'm not really sure why they're so big. They remind me of the Campari cocktail tomatoes. But this beautiful black beauty is just starting to blush, so I'll put that in the window as well as this. And I'm wondering if I should anticipate that these guys will have a tough skin like the Thorn Burns terracotta do. So, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm wrong. This is a Thorn Burns terracotta. This was the first tomato that I pulled off today. I didn't pull a Dr. Witchy's today. What I pulled was my first mortgage lifter. Oh my goodness. These marks again are just from the flowering process. Look at the beautiful flutes on the shoulders. There's no real cracks. So this will sit in the window until it fully ripens to perfection. These guys here are all Parks Whoppers that I'm pulling early, and the Parks Whoppers has gone through some change. I'll explain to you. Oh, it's a shame I can't be outside to do this video with you, but there's always another day that I can explain to you. So in the past, we've grown Parks Whoppers exclusively before we went into this big adventure to grow so many different types of heirloom tomatoes, to just try to discover what it is that grows best for us here in our ever-changing climate with heat and exposure and so on. So there's a lot of tomatoes this year. But the Parks Whoppers, we used to plant, I think we would buy 3 of them from Bonnie's that we would pick up at Lowe's. And we would just plant them in the back. And this is before we were really into the big garden. We just had a spinach bed and a tomato bed. And the Parks Whopper would grow truly indeterminate. It would vine, it would grow 10 feet tall, they would wrap around each other. I would get hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes, and it would produce flowers all through the summer. And we would harvest tomatoes in up to late October. It produced consistently, not just in random rounds. So I would give tomatoes away to everybody, and they were big, giant, red, smooth tomatoes, juicy and delicious and everything you want a tomato to be. Now, we did that up until 3 years ago when we noticed that the Parks Whopper had changed. And I said, you know, I think as it being a hybrid, I think they're experimenting on this tomato, and I think they're trying to cross-pollinate it with something else with different habits. And I noticed it immediately. That year we noticed that the tomato plant stayed smaller. It didn't spread wild, it didn't grow very tall, and we didn't have nearly as much of an output. Now, last year was a whole other different situation. because we had the serious drought and everything had just died off. So we blamed the Parks Whopper's lack of production and lack of growing and training all over the trellises on weather. Even though the year before it had done not as extreme, so over the past 3 years, it just got progressively worse. And I said to John last year, I suspect that this Parks Whopper hybrid has been cross-pollinated with a more determinate type of tomato. I'm not really sure why they would have done this. Now in the past, I would not prune off suckers. I would just let it grow wild. And like I said, we had thousands, literally thousands of tomatoes. I would still be eating our fresh tomatoes that ripened in the back window in December that I would pull off the Parks Whopper. This year it's worse than ever. And I grew these plants from seed that I bought from Parks directly. Now it's more of a truly determinate tomato. It gets its entire load all at once. Everything ripens all at once, just like a Roma tomato. It gets blight, all of its leaves die off, its stem starts to turn yellow, and it almost becomes like a disposable tomato plant. So I'm a little concerned. You know, next year, I'll show you in the next video exactly what's happening with that. Now, the tomatoes have still been abundant, and they're very, very delicious, and they ripen to, you know, everything that you want a little tomato to be. But this is just a little guy, and this is pretty much the average size. In the past, our Parks Whoppers would be as big as this beautiful Dr. Witchy's. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but 2 of our plants have actually almost dissolved down to nearly nothing. There's a single stem left. I didn't do anything to it. Nothing around it is sick, so I'm very, very confused. But a few of the other plants are finally starting to show a little bit of a canopy. They're getting new blossoms on top. So there is some hope that we will have Parks Whoppers late into the season, but I know that everything else is going to perform for us. So I'm glad that I followed my instinct to grow more types of tomato varieties this year. So we're ensured a harvest throughout the year. Check this out, you guys. It's getting so dark out, look. Here's what I have to run out in. Oh my gosh, it's probably gonna have a downpour. It's like, it feels like 100% humidity. It's terrible. But this is the classic beef. This is the one that got punctured, as I was telling you, and it healed itself. The amazing healing power of a tomato. Imagine if this can heal itself, what it does for your body when you consume fresh food this way. This is the first Black Beauty that I harvested, and I'll be getting ready to cut into that one very, very soon. This bad boy is another Kellogg's breakfast. Oh, I cannot wait to have that tomato. Oh, and over here I have, these are a few ripened Sweet 100s that ripened on the vine, and these are all Thornburns terracotta, which they trip me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you, you guys. My brain says a tomato is supposed to be red. Oh, here comes the rain. I have to go close the greenhouse. Oh gosh. Now I'm all wet. Oh my gosh, I'm all wet. My dress is all wet. I'm going to have to get changed before I go to the doctor's appointment. My back is soaked. But anyway, you guys, all I was going to say about the Thornburns terracotta is that my brain is trained to cut into a red tomato. I'm okay with the yellow tomatoes, ironically, but any tomato that still has green gel inside of it kind of blows my mind a little bit. I'm not really sure about it, even though it does really have a big true tomato flavor. I don't really love that green gel inside, and I don't really love the tough texture of its skin. I anticipate the Black Beauty is going to have tough skin also, and it may have some funky colors inside. But if you want to see what the Black Beauty looks like because you've never seen one before, please subscribe to our channel. Give this video a thumbs up and stay tuned. I'll be doing a video real soon with you guys cutting into the Black Beauty so you can have a look at it. But anyway, you guys, I'm going to run off to the doctor's appointment now and make sure that my thyroid is healthy. So before I let you go, oh my goodness, so it turned out to be an eventful day of multiple rainstorms. And what I forgot to mention was, I know at one point I said my doctor's appointment got canceled, but they squeezed me into another time slot on the same today. So anyway, it was a crazy hectic day, but I was just trying to finish up the day and something told me to go out into the yard. And even though we thought that we locked down the berry barn, I'm trying to find it in the distance back there where we keep all of our blueberries and blackberries. We locked it down. We managed to keep the catbirds out, but now the wild finches got in that pollinate our corn. So the bird netting, you guys, if you're putting up bird netting though, you got to be careful because we monitor the net daily, and thank goodness, because I went back to find a little finch had wedged itself in and the net was wrapped around its neck, and the more it struggled, the tighter it got. But I got it out, it was no problem. And we set it free, but the minute I set it free, it was trying to get right back in again. So they are very aggressive little birds. But what I wanted to show you was a little late day pre-shower surprise. Look! I'll turn it around and show you. All right, so I found this blushing brandy wine all the way down at the bottom, and it was mostly pink, but it had a little bit of a crack on the top, so I pulled it off. I found a bunch of green beans, but look at the size of these blackberries. My goodness, a whole entire bowl full. So that was a nice surprise. You can tell when it's time to harvest them. They're not so glossy and they're not red. They take on a little bit of a matted finish. There's a few blueberries left that they didn't decimate on us, but these are giant blackberries. Really beautiful. So anyway, you guys, I meant it that time. I'll see you in the next video.